All right. Welcome to Lana Banana Na 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 Na. Today we are making bread from scratch. We're going to make two different kinds of breads. We're going to make a half whole wheat, half white, and then just a strictly white flour bread. So we're going to start with getting your water nice and warm. I suck at this, but I just let the tap just go until it is 105 to 115. I have my little measuring tool. I just kind of put it in there and I measure. So my first one of the whole wheat, because I want to make extra, some for myself and then some for a potluck we're doing at the office. So I'm going to do 4 cups of warm water to start. So nice and close. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's stop that. Perfect, so I have my water. Now we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of yeast. So let me take that out of my fridge. I use I'm gonna butcher this, Fleischmann's. Again, butchered it. Why I put an accent? Who knows? Who knows why, but it happened. So we are doing 2 tablespoons worth. So I take roughly, I like to spread it nicely in there. Then 1 more. I gotta go get more yeast soon. Okay, so I have that going, and you do need to give it some sugar or honey to start because it just makes it activate a lot faster. So it says half a cup of sugar, so you can either do half a cup of sugar or honey. I've always just done sugar. Sometimes I've done honey. I usually try to do honey more with whole wheat, and I sometimes find that it actually makes it a lot sweeter. But for this purpose, we're not going to do the full half a cup of sugar, and I have to do a little bit less because sugar is just not that good for you. So we try to cut it out where we can, but I do about half of this, I would say, to start, and that just makes the yeast nice and happy. So I just sprinkle it around, and then I kind of keep it on the side for a minute, and that is just going to sit and foam. And eventually we'll zoom in and show you the progress of what it looks like before and what it looks like after. So this is the before, and right now, again, you can see it's already starting, but it's kind of because I put a bit of the sugar afterwards, so it's foaming up. But the actual foaming process is so cool because it will just start to all come up. And again, I'm just going to leave this on the side and just let it do its thing. Okay, so same thing, except basically gonna half the recipe because I'm not gonna make as much. It's gonna be just 2 cups of warm water. And here we go. About 1 and 2. Okay. You could also just boil your water, but sometimes I overdo it and then I just sit there waiting for it to cool down. Impatient, but that's me. Okay, and then we're going to do, again, 1 tablespoon of yeast because we're doing half this recipe. Okay, so that's done. And that is my biggest thing that I try to do is whenever you're cooking, as soon as you're done with something, just put it away. It makes the whole cooking process so much more fun because you're not just stuck being like, oh, I have to clean all this. No, it's already done. So again, the other recipe takes half a cup of sugar. So to half it, we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of sugar, and we're only gonna put half of this at the beginning. Again, less sugar than you actually need because it's not that good for you. Okay, so we're letting it sit, and again, it's just gonna sit there. Oh, it's happening. It's slowly starting to foam up. I'm trying to see if I can just get this angled so you can just watch the progress. There you go. How cool is that? Just starts to get all foamy, and it's like a science experiment at home. It's so cool. Again, so cool. So I'm gonna make you watch this while I figure out my next steps. Bam, 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 explosions. Okay, In the meantime, I'm just drying my 1 cup measuring cup so the water doesn't get stuck. I'm done with my sugar, so I'm just putting that away while you're watching the yeast. Just have so much fun in there and pop, pop, pop. And I'm weird. I like to use a sifter. Does it make a difference? I don't know, but I have one and I just like to incorporate it every time I can because why not? It's there for the taking. Right, so you're getting to see it. You can even see in the water, it's just getting bubbly. Usually you'd almost want to leave this for 5 to 10 minutes. Just honestly depends how much time you have. The more you leave it, the better it is because it gets to activate more and more, and then your proofing and rising time, I would say, just gets cut in half almost. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe fact check me, but that's kind of what happens. I'm just gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna slow-mo this, I'm not gonna fast-mo this, it's just, this is life. And if you are bored and you are having time on your hands to watch yeast, here we go. We're just watching it happen. Meantime, I'm just gonna get all my fun tools that I like to mix things with. Oh yeah, it's happening. Look at it go. It's so cool. And that is bread. Just so cool. I could just watch this all day. And here is a small update on the other one. As you can see, it's gone really foamy. And if you look at the sides, it's like almost grown in size. I don't know why it's not focusing, but there we are. This is what is in your bread. Okay, so as that goes, again, I'm still gonna give them both a couple more minutes, maybe like another 2 on this one, and then I'll start working it in. So the next step on this is gonna be the remainder of sugar, and then we're gonna put a bit of salt. So in this case, it's gonna be, in this one, it's gonna be 4 teaspoons of salt, and then we're gonna put a lot of olive oil. And that is, some people use like canola oil or other types of oil, like the recipe, where I saw it, they either use vegetable canola or olive oil. I prefer olive oil, just love the taste of olive oil, so any chance I get to use olive oil, I try to. Again, anything that you're not working with and you're done with, put away when you can. I just want to start because I just want to see it grow. The coolest part is like, you're gonna make this ball, and then this ball is gonna be beyond the entire bowl, and it's my favorite part. When you leave it for like an hour and you come back, you're like, whoa, I made that. It's like, yeah, you did. You made bread. And it's so easy. And who needs to buy bread? Not us, because we have bread. You're also gonna need 2 linen cloths, and the linen cloths, well again, I'm using 2 because I have 2 different ones going, but usually you just need a linen cloth. I usually use just whatever hand towels I have. I try to get them to be all linen, and I have designated ones usually just for my bread making. This one's from PEI. It's a lobster trap. Yeah. So eventually you're gonna wet this, and after you've done mixing everything, you're gonna cover it on top and just let it sit. Try to keep it in a warm place. Some people will actually even warm up the oven, then turn it off, and that way the entire environment of it is warm. They will cover it and then keep it in there with the oven actually open and crack. And that almost apparently doubles the time of it to rise. I've also done where I've just turned my fireplace and just put my growing dough near it, and just, yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm not awkward, you're awkward. Okay, this is basically done. I'm just gonna show you one more time what it looks like, because somehow I've talked for longer than I've said I was going to, and here it is. Final product until I start to actually do it. This is the other one. More or less similar, but this one I'm gonna give a bit more time than this one. We're gonna start with this one first. So as I said, I'm going to pour in the rest of the sugar in there. Okay, yeast is gonna be nice and happy with that. Next, I'm going to start with the 4 teaspoons of salt, just to make sure. Yes, okay. the full one. I love salt, so I make mine almost sometimes a bit more salty. Again, it's not exact, don't worry about it. It's a learning curve, you'll know. Some people always will do less, some people always do more. It's honestly your preference. So just, again, cooking should just be so much fun, and it should never be a chore. It should be like, I'm looking forward to making this bread, which I am. Okay, then we're gonna do our olive oil. We're gonna do 4 tablespoons worth. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I've said it aloud because I'll forget which one I'm on. And 4. Here we go. You also need more olive oil after the fact. I always forget this, but you should always have like a little working plate or something to put all of your like used things, because you don't need to dirty your countertop and it just keeps the entire environment cleaner. And I just like to whisk it all quickly. So I'm just mixing it all, making sure the salt and the sugar are dissolved before I start pouring in my flour. And it smells amazing already. Again, I love the smell of the olive oil, the yeast, just so homey. Okay, so that's done. Now to the bread flour. So I always put my whole wheat flour in first, if I'm doing that one first, and I can't sift whole wheat flour. I've tried, don't do it, because you just get stuck with all the whole wheat part, and it's just not smart. All right, so we're gonna do 1. I usually try to do like 2, and then I'll mix it in a bit. Again, they don't have to be exact. You kind of just always do a little bit less than you need to, even though I'm not. That's because I've done this more than once. And again, I also said I was going to stop at 2, and I did 4. But that's okay. I like to mix it with a wooden spatula, and I just kind of start with the ends, and I just slowly mix it in. Again, usually the first 4 cups are not difficult, and they are mixed pretty quickly. If you do it 1 cup at a time, you can almost even just use this, and it becomes easier maybe for some. I'm just kind of like, I gotta make another one, so I'm just trying to hurry it up. So again, I know I'm taking my sweet time with this, but you can probably get all of this done in like 10 minutes if you're just have your process down and you're like, I gotta do it, and you're also not making double the recipe. So yeah, but usually I will make double the recipe, so this one that I'm making, and that will make me 2 large loaves, and I will keep those, again, usually last, I would say 3 to 4 days, and that's me using it for lunch and dinner. Sometimes I'll even have a piece of toast for breakfast. So it just depends how much you love bread, but I love bread. So again, I'm done now with my whole wheat flour. I'm going to quickly put it away. Then the rest is going to be, so for this one, I'm going to use the home style white bread flour. This is Robin Hood. You can, like, so many different variations. Play around with them, see what you like best. And again, for this one, why I'm weird, I don't know, but I like to sift it. And I just feel like it makes some mental difference more than anything. Okay, 2 is awkward, and I should have done this a little different. Okay, 2.5. So we'll do that first, and then we'll add more. So at this stage, I would not dump as many flour as I did in the beginning, because it will be harder to mix, and sometimes I find it easier to mix in, let's say, a cup or 2 cups at a time instead of the entire thing. Okay, great. And sometimes, like, why I do it is because there's like little weird bits, or if you ever cooked or like accidentally stuck your hand in there, whatever you do, I'm not messy, you're messy. Yeah, it just takes out the weird little bits, but it's so fun. So again, you just keep going. First you're like, oh my God, this is never gonna absorb all the flour. It will, it always will. So I use the spatula as much as I can. Is it a spatula? No, it probably is just a wooden spoon, but it's not a spoon. It's a wooden thing. Using this wooden thing until I can get all the sides. Try to incorporate it in as much as you can. All right. All right. Okay guys, it's gonna be my first video. I have other videos I filmed and they're gonna be weird, but I'm gonna try to maybe not even edit, we'll see. Maybe I'm just gonna post it out like that, because New Year's goal was to post 5 videos to my YouTube channel that does not yet exist, but it will after this video. So again, you can see this goopy mixture. It is still too goopy. You kind of want it to become more of something you can actually form into a ball. This will be not that yet. So, but I also didn't add yet enough flour, so I'm just gonna finish adding at least another cup, maybe at a time. Okay, it's kind of a cup and a little bit, but that's okay. So again, I don't know why I sift my white flour, especially for a bread recipe. I think people more sift if they're making like cakes or pastries, but I decide to sift for my bread. Okay, again, see, this time nothing, but sometimes there's something. Okay, so then getting closer to this stage, you probably will get your hands involved, like you definitely have to, or at least I like to. And my recommendations, if you have any rings, take them off. Dough will be stuck in all the crevices of your rings. See, little plate comes super in handy. I don't know if you're seeing the plate, but the plate is the best. So this is where I get my hands a little bit dirty. I know there's more dry flour at the end. You almost want to like you're kind of punching the dough, but you're like kneading it, like you're like this is the motion. So you're just doing that, and then after you get a little bit, you flip it, and then you do the same thing with the other side. And again, you almost want to have a little bit of flour that you can use to drizzle on, because again, right now I would say it's still a little bit too wet. I know this one I'm not going to sift because my hands are too doughy, but we're just going to keep. And you almost want to do this for at least like a couple of minutes, and that's just to make sure that any flour that's in it, as you can see things just pop out, is well incorporated. And because at the end you're basically going to take all of this and put olive oil at the bottom of the bowl. So you're going to see me struggle, but you're going to take the dough, make it into a ball that you can kind of hold. Okay. I don't like to play with my dough too much because it makes it too tough in my opinion. And I know they say that with pastries, I think. I'm gonna say the same applies to bread. And I just let it rise. I mean, this is all gonna grow. Again, it's gonna all be above the bowl. So you're gonna take this, you're gonna try to hold it with your hand into as much of a bowl as you can. Again, you're gonna get all dough all over everywhere. You're gonna sprinkle this like that. So your bowl is gonna be covered. You're gonna just take your hand. This is a super fun experience. Again, you have to love what you're doing. All right, gotta get messy. This is the best part. Okay, so, no, the best part is when it grows. Anyways, so you take this, okay, now it's done. At least this is how I do it. Okay, you make it into a ball. You put it in there, and I like to add a little bit more olive oil just on top. I pour olive oil. Bottle. Okay, and then I like to just feel it around. So I like to cover the entire dough in olive oil, because I find that when you put your linen cloth, eventually, again, as I said, it will rise to the top and overflow, especially this when you're making the double size. And you don't want it to really stick to your cloth, and this whole olive oil process ensures that. So you're gonna do that. You're gonna, any bits and pieces you have, like, put them in there. Let them be part of this beautiful experience. Okay, it's in there. Again, you can probably put even a bit more olive oil, it's solely up to you. Now I'm going to go rinse my hands off somehow. You're gonna take the cloth that's you've wet, you're gonna put it on top. And again, now this dough is done. I like to kind of, not seal it, but like, there's not a lot of air. The air is coming in through it anyways. So this is now gonna just sit and you're gonna put on the side. Again, 8:30, won't be done probably till around 9. Will I be going to bed before 10? No, that's okay. That's so fun. I love it. On to the next one. So as you can see, this one is nice and foamy. We're gonna finish off the remainder of the sugar in here. Need 2 teaspoons of salt in this one because we're only doing half. So again, once you have everything out and once you get the motion of it, it goes pretty quick. Again, you usually don't need to let it sit as long as I let it sit, but we're having fun. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil for this white bread. And I also like to add some rosemary when you bake it. And that is a bit more, I think, is aesthetic, as they say, than anything, but it does give a nice smell to the bread overall. And if you like rosemary, it's great. So I'm gonna probably do that in one of the loaves, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so this one is done. We're gonna now put between maximum of 4 to 5 cups. So in this case, again, this one's just gonna be all white, so I'm just gonna do all-purpose flour for this one. So I already have it out. And again, in this one, I am going to sift it because this is all just white flour. There's no whole wheat, no issues. So 2 and 3, as many as I can fit at once. Okay, I'm gonna sift it in there. I do this, I think, because in my mind, I'm like, it's more airy. Is that the case? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I did 3. No time to watch it back. We're gonna assume, but again, at 3, I'm gonna just mix it around, and then if I need a 4th, then I will go at it. Put 1 more. Sometimes, again, you can do 4 to 5. I probably would try to stick with just 4. Actually, it is pretty watery, so maybe we will end up going with 5. Okay, mix. You literally just need to wait for it to double in size. So as long as you can get it to double in size in half an hour or an hour, whatever tricks you use, do it. Because the quicker you can make the bread, the better. The better the experience will be, because you're like, wow, this was so fast and totally worth it. And again, if you're doing this and you're like going through the process, doing it the first time, just try it for the first time, see what happens. But as you keep going, sometimes it's just fun to like just make bread for the week. Okay, one of my goals is also just to eat homemade bread for an entire month. Like, I'm not even allowed to eat a piece of store-bought bread. It's cheating. Well, like, maybe if I'm out, I guess that counts, because you can't just bring your bread wherever you're going. That would be weird. So that is what we're doing right now. We're what, January 13th? So far, we have done it. We've had a loaf, so like, we didn't want it to go to waste, but I think we ended up freezing that one. And so far, we've literally just been eating all the bread I've been making, and it's been so great. My favorite is doing this on like a Sunday, prepping it all, just, house smells amazing, and you get just such a fun experience. You can also, this is a little trick, again, I've already kind of dirtied my hands, but small trick is to actually put a bit of olive oil on your hands as you're going to make this all come together. A bit more flour, because it's still a bit wet. Okay, just have like a little bit on the side. Sometimes it's easier, so you're not going into your master batch the whole time. Again, just punching it a little bit, massaging it, whatever you call this, and just having fun with your dough. Okay, more. Maybe too much, we'll find out. As long as it's mixed and there's still some excess ones, it's not the end of the world, because again, once it rises, it will literally eat any flour that's left anywhere. And that is the best part of dough. Again, this one still needs quite a bit of love. of massaging. So we keep massaging until it's happy. Keeps sticking to me, this one. Again, you can try putting a bit of olive oil in your hands if you want. I'm unfortunately too far deep because it's just so sticky. And I'm gonna make a mess, but I'm gonna need more flour. So yeah, it depends. It should be sticky, but you should also be able to like make a ball with it where it's not just all sticking to your hands like it is with me right now. Okay. Getting some traction here. All right. And eventually I'm gonna try making fun bread. I wanna try, it's a whole time where we did sourdough bread, and sourdough is amazing, but you gotta get into the groove of it. So I would say, like, this is why I'm starting with this one right now, and I'm just trying to make homemade bread for now, because I eventually would like to get back into just making sourdough. And my friend Jenna has the best starter, and I'm gonna steal it from her one day when she's back, and I'll be like, please help me relearn how to make sourdough. It's like you have to feed it every couple days. So again, as long if you're already making bread, it's great, and it's something that if you're doing it, you just got to get into the rhythm, and I think you can do it. But when I did it originally, I was just like, I'm gonna make sourdough. I didn't. All my sourdough died. Like, I had a couple loaves and they were great, but they all died. And they become all like vinegary and weird. But you can still revive, which is really weird, but again, try not to do it with your entire hand like this. Ideally, I think you would want to have olive oil already pre-done in a thing that is disposable. Not that smart. Did not think about that. Maybe in the future. Maybe when we do sourdough, I will learn. Just try to put it all together and make your little ball. I tried to keep it all together. So you're taking everything in and just putting it to the bottom of it, because it will all rise and it will all be beautiful eventually. Put it in the nice little olive oil home you made for it, or just regular oil, whatever you're using. And again, top a little bit at the top. There are people out there that are like, wow, you're using too much olive oil. Probably, but I just love it so much. So again, and then I just go with my fingers. You can't see this probably, but I'm just tucking everything in on the sides. And that is because it's just all gonna go and grow and be everywhere. Again, you can take a little bit of olive oil, put on your hand, and just rub the sides where it eventually will grow to. This again will just prevent a little bit of sticking and anything else happening on the sides of it. And what I like to do actually is I like to have a designated scrub daddy to just use on my hands after I'm done with dough. It just comes off in like 5 seconds. Again, wet cloth, you're going to cover it, and we're just gonna nicely let it sit by itself. And in the meantime, before you start anything else, try to clean up whatever you don't need. Rings back on, flour away. Usually if you are, you know what, I'm actually gonna refill this because I'm not doing anything else right now. Help your future self, try to fill things up when you can. Because again, when you have the time, you should do it. Because I find that I'm more discouraged if I go in to try to bake something and I'm like, oh, my flour's not filled up. Oh, maybe I just won't do it. And then I'm like, no fresh bread. And then it goes spirals. So again, it takes 2 seconds. Also, thing I would recommend for when you are baking or cooking or doing anything is an apron. It actually saves all of your clothes. And again, just try to clean up your workspace as soon as you can, because again, clean workspace makes it just fun, and it just makes it go by so much quicker. We're going to wait probably another 30 minutes to 40 minutes for all of our bread to rise, or dough to rise, because it's not bread yet. And probably 30 minutes from now, I'm going to preheat my oven. I like to do it at about 400, and I put my Dutch oven in there first to get it all hot, because you want, when you put in your dough, you want the environment of all of it not to be cold. You want it to be nice and hot because it gets the bottom of it, I think, cooked. Thank you for watching up until now, if you've stuck with me. I'm going to move on to the next pieces, which is going to be, again, starting my oven soon and getting them all ready. All right. Welcome back. All right, let's see the rise. As you can see, it is exploding. It is fully exploding through the cloth. And this is why we put lots of olive oil. I clearly didn't do enough. As you can see, it is coming out everywhere and it is so sticky. Oh yeah. Oh God. So try to get as much of it out as possible because you have to wash this and it will go everywhere in your washer and dryer and your husband will hate you. No, really, try to get it all out. Again, sometimes you gotta play with it a little bit and it will eventually all come out. So this one also is here. Again, I probably did a little bit too tight. This one's a little bit better in the rise because there's less of it also. But, so you'd want to get a nice flour surfaced. Wow. English. Surface. Use flour on your surface. Yes. All these words. Okay, I will figure the rest of this out after. But we're going to quickly just put this on. And then I'm going to start mixing my soup that is going in the background because I am eating dinner so late, but it's okay. Fresh chicken soup. Next recipe to follow. Okay, quickly, while that's doing, we're gonna put flour. We have to just let this sit and almost re-rise just a little bit. So we just dump. And that's why I say use lots of olive oil because it just makes this whole process easier to, when you get everything out, get the little crumbs if you can, just the more dough you can. Then I fold it in on itself at least once, like this, and make another ball. Flip it around. I have this super fun little tool. There are metal ones, there are plastic ones. Get whatever you can. And I cut it in half because, again, this was a 2 loafed idea here. And we're just very roughly cutting it in half. Do a good enough job first time. Gonna do it a second time. And now we're gonna make 2 separate bowls here. So we're going to tuck it all in underneath and leave it just for a couple more minutes to re-rise while we take out the nice hot pan. As I said, it's been in there for about 15 minutes, just heating up, because you want to put it in a nice hot pan when you take it out. So both of them are more or less even. They're both circles, more or less. Circles or round circles, as much as we can. It doesn't really matter. Okay, next surface area quickly here. Surface that, quickly remix my soup. Shoop. Okay, and I'm gonna take this one out as well, and we're just going to plop it. Here we go. And this one we're just gonna make just one whole one. This is just gonna be a nice big loaf. And again, tuck it all into itself, flip it back, and let it sit and rise. You can put a cloth back on it just in this time. So again, it just rises. It just helps it to be in a bit of a darker place. And I'm going to try to clean up as much of this as I can. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to take out the rosemary that we talked about before for one of these loaves. And I usually just, if they're all close together, just cover them as much as you can. Let them sit in a little bit of darkness for a tiny bit. Okay, so now we are taking the Dutch oven out of the oven that has been nice and hot. Take it out. Be very careful, don't burn yourself. I burned myself many times. It's not a good time. And I like to do this fun, weird trick where I take my parchment paper, I put it on top, and I usually do this before I put it into the oven, so I don't burn myself as much, but too late. Here we go. We're gonna cut around to make a nice perfect circle. Just have your scissors do most of the work. Try not to touch the hot Dutch oven. That is for my delicious toast that I'm taking out in just 10 seconds. Transferring to a plate. Okay, garbaggio. Again, take off lid. Didn't drop. There's a trick I saw online. You take your parchment paper and you slightly crumple it. You crumple it because it just makes it easier to maybe get in there. It's hot. It's just not gonna work, but it's okay. When as flat as possible. Then we're gonna take whichever bread we wanna go with first. This one seems like it's just waiting to be put in. So we're gonna pick it up with our hands. You're gonna then try to make it into a nice round ball. You're gonna retuck it in all into itself, and you're gonna plop it into the Dutch oven. I will get one of these where you actually see what I'm doing in here, but now it's just no time. Take a nice sharp knife. I use paring knife. So this is my delicious bread. I like to just go from one end. Try to get it deep, because the deeper you get it, the more of a cool crust you're gonna get. You didn't work the first time, do it again. Some cool people on the internet have a razor blade. I'm not that cool. One day, I'm scared to cut myself, but here we go. Just a regular knife. Sometimes I'm also like, ooh, let's just make one more in here and one more in there. Again, have fun. It's just gonna be okay. Just try to make deep cuts, because this will just puff up. Don't forget your hot mitts. Put it all on. Open this back on, and we're putting it in for 30 minutes exactly. Good, on the other setting it and have a nice handy timer. Set it on your phone, set it on your watch, whatever you do. Press start, and that's it. Go do something else for 30 minutes. I'm gonna keep these going. They're gonna keep rising. Hopefully they don't merge. And I'm up for another hour and a half baking bread. Now we are back to the last step, which is taking the lid off the Dutch oven and letting it get nice and toasty at the top for about 5 minutes. So let's take a look at what it looks like right now in there. We have our first one. Open it up. We're going to take the lid off. Looks nice and toasty in there. And again, that's our whole wheat one. Now we're gonna keep this off, and we're just gonna close this again for just about 5 minutes and let it get nice and golden and nice and brown. And I'm just cutting off a nice circle. I put the lid back on. So, ta-da! Done. Now again, I'm just gonna quickly take this off. I'm going to ruffle it just a little, just lightly, and this just makes it a little bit more easy to maneuver and get it up a little bit on the edges. And we see I've just remaneuvered it, kind of put it like that, and there it is. Meantime, let's see. Again, these are rising nicely. Again, it's sticking. Unfortunately, the other one's not as much, but my whole wheat is just having a good time. That one will go in next into the big Dutch oven. Maybe I'll just do sneak peeks of how they end up looking at the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you get to make some bread, and I hope it turns out just as yummy as mine does. Okay, 30 seconds until the finale of seeing how it turns out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, 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 beep. Here we go. Final product. It looks absolutely stunning. Okay, I'll put this in heat. Okay, this is what your whole wheat bread would look like, taken out, and this is why you do the nice crust and the nice cuts. Again, you can probably do even deeper cuts. If I did, then more of it would come out and it will be more crusty, more things to pick at if that's what you're looking to do. What I do afterwards is I like to take it out and let it rest. So I have a nice resting tray right here. And I usually, in theory, you will let it sit for a little longer. I don't have the time because I have to put in the other one. So I'm gonna use my weird tongs here. I'm gonna try my best to take it out without butchering. Yeah, see, I just dented it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, perfect. Look at that. Again, don't look at the little thing, but again, look at that. Look at that crust. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Again, you can see where I've done the cuts. Like this is one of them. This is an attempt at one. See, I didn't go deep enough. This is why you want to almost cut it deeper if you can. And there it is, the bread, the loaf. Now you could be doing that, homemade bread every day by yourself if you want. Ketchup in. Quickly take off the lid. And we are going to put the other one in there. Again, this one was a little bit easier to maneuver and play with. Didn't have as much of an issue. Kind of how I score it without me moving it 100 times. I find the white bread is usually easier to maneuver and play with. It does rise easier, just easier to work with. But the whole wheat one is healthier for you. So if you're actually making bread for yourselves every day, I do say that that one is one of the better ideas to do. Or again, you can mix it up depending on what you're eating with. Like this white bread, honestly, I love having it with just jam and butter as a delicious dessert. Again, I'm not good at these cuts, but you do need a sharp knife because it makes this a lot easier. I am not using a sharp knife. It's okay. It looks like a child did it. I am a child. And we're gonna experiment. We're actually gonna put in both of these Dutch ovens at the same time. I've never done it like that, but I don't wanna be up until forever. So we're going to try to put both of them in. And fingers crossed they both cook. And if that is the case, I have unlocked a superpower. And I'm gonna be always doing it like that. Ooh, let's learn. So again, they're both in. They're gonna be cooking for about 30 minutes. That's it, welcome, and stay tuned.